Mary Meet Aries, Aries sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign. This is a 2-week reading for all you Aries starting today, the 22nd of September, 2023. We are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Moderating today on YouTube is the lovely Suzanne, and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Dre. Thank you so much, Suzanne and Dre, and thank you to all of you Aries and friends of Aries for joining us today for this 2-week reading. If you're watching us on a restream on YouTube, make sure you know that if you don't want to watch the shuffling, you can use the timestamp in the video description to fast forward to the reading. I'm reading today with this Marseille Tarot by Fournier, and this is the Verveine by Fragonard that I've used for purifying this space, and you can find links to purchase each of these products in the video description of this very video on my YouTube channel. Going out to a lot of Aries, Aries sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign. So that means that, you know, if you are watching this, you're in the midst of a lot of Aries readings, and if it doesn't make sense to you, might not be for you. Don't worry about it. Don't force things. Just disregard the reading if that's the case. And then you can maybe check out the zodiacal readings for your other signs, or check out the daily reading for all signs, or the weekly reading. That's a pick a card reading that comes out on Sunday nights, although next week we won't have any of that because I'm on vacation. But I'll be back. All right, Aries, I'm excited to read for you today. You're my last reading before my vacation, so I hope it's a good one. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you're on Twitch, make sure you follow us. You can watch on Twitch without ads by subscribing to us there. We have a shop at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. Lots and lots of affiliate links, including tarot decks. We do appreciate your support. We make a small commission off of each and every sale there. Another way to support us is by donating, and you can send a donation to paypal.me/arielgatoga. paypal.me/arielgatoga. If you're watching on YouTube, you could use a super sticker or super chat if you're live, or if you are on a restream, you could use a super thanks. We do thank you very much for being here, and I can't wait to read for you, Aries. So let's give this one more shuffle for good measure. And we'll give this deck a nice clean cut. We'll see what's in the cards for the next 2 weeks for you gorgeous Aries. All right. Starting off with a Queen of Coins, a 5 of Coins, and a 5 of Swords. Okay, I'm going to open this up because I have a feeling this is not as scary as it looks. Because sometimes 2 5s in a row, it's like, okay, just go to bed, pull the covers over your head, and just wait for a couple weeks, and everything's going to be fine later, you know. But I don't really get that that's the truth. I really think that these are things that you've been sort of like maybe keeping at bay for a while that are finally coming up to be released. So I'm going to open the reading just to see if I'm right. I don't think these are things that you're going to deal with. I think these are things that you want to let go of. I think this has been sort of like building up for a long time now for many of you. So let's see if I'm right before I start making opinions about what I think these cards mean. Let's see if I'm right. We've got a 2 of Swords, a Sun card. Yes, I am right. Okay, this is your challenge, Aries. It's not so much the 5 of Swords that's the challenge, it's the Magician card that's your challenge. The Magician card is the part of you that says, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to modify the way you think of me. I'm going to try to pull the wool over your eyes so that you think I'm a different person than I am. And that's so not you. That's so not you. You're as an Aries, your natural inclination though is to, take me as I am. Take me or leave me. It's really none of my business whether you like me. That's your power. And for some reason you get this idea, or maybe many of you have had this idea for a long time, and I think for several of you, this is this 5 of Swords, several of you learned that as children to help you through abuse or bullying or both. And this is coming up to get resolved, and you need to let it go, Aries. And you can let it go immediately, but it's going to, even if you don't let it go immediately, it will work itself out over these next couple of weeks, because I don't think that there's going to be much choice for you other than to really finally let it go. And it's saying, though, that you don't have to do so much work on that. You don't have to do so much work on that if you call on that solar light. If you see, a lot of you think that you're worried about money, but you're not worried about money. You're worried about safety. You're worried about not being like hit, or not being yelled at, or not being punished, or not being bullied. That's really what it is. But see, instead of looking at that, many of you say, "Oh no, it's a financial thing." It's not a financial thing. Ultimately, it may appear like that. That may be the way that you try to hide it. So then you hide behind financial worries. That way you don't have to look at the bottom line there. But the bottom line is that you're trying to avoid looking at some big patterns of abuse or cruelty on some level that don't come from you. I don't see you as a cruel person at all, Aries. I see you as somebody that wants to pretend that cruelty isn't even there. You don't even want to remember what all of that was. And it's not that you have to sit and remember and kind of go through it and relive things, but you do need to recognize that a lot of the patterns that you have been sort of good at dancing through and kind of tap dancing your life through and making things look good are not, it's too fatiguing to tap dance anymore. You don't want to do that anymore. You want to let this stuff go. So if it's on the way up, Aries, it is on the way out, but you don't even have to go through all of that. If you get right to the solar light, just do that today. Just get right to the solar light today and stay with it. If you do that, if you commit to doing that solar light or some other thing, maybe you do some other kind of process to keep that divine design at top of mind. That could, I know a lot of people like Reiki and things like that. It's just not my background. But the solar light, if you want to know how to do it, there's 2 different meditations that I have that you can use to learn it. But then you don't need meditations to learn it. You can just do it all by yourself. If you just do that, maybe even 3-4 times a day, because you can do it in as little as 30 seconds to a minute. If you just commit to that and you stay on that, you don't even have to go through this. It just happens. Things just shift for you. And you don't have to go through that whole releasing process and that whole regurgitation process and that reliving process, right? You just make new choices in the midst of this solar light. Now, the other thing that you want to watch for one thing, you don't have to let everybody in. I think a lot of times the reason why, Aries, that you think that you need to kind of like put a facade up so that people don't see what's really going on is because you feel like it's everybody's right to know who you are on the inside, to know your secrets. Everybody's got a right to know your secrets, and so you have to protect yourself. You don't owe them your secrets. Your secrets are sacred. The only one that needs to know your secrets is infinite intelligence, and infinite intelligence already knows them, just FYI. Infinite intelligence already knows every little thing about you, and you know what? Infinite intelligence thinks you're fabulous. So it's you that's got this idea that there's something about you that not only needs to be hidden, but instead of allowing yourself to just have your secrets if you want them. There's nothing wrong with keeping things sacred and not keeping things away from other people. It's nobody's business what you think or what you believe or the kinds of things that you do in private. Nobody's business. But for some reason you think that they do have a right to all of that. And so therefore, in order to protect yourself, you try to manage people's perceptions of you by changing your behavior. You don't owe them that. You don't owe anybody that. And you definitely don't owe your old abuser that. And see, what happens is whatever this old abuser was, or this old bully, or this old issue, this old abuse, whatever this happens to be, it's going to be so different for all of you. Anytime you have an occurrence in life where something comes up, you're not even dealing with what you're dealing with in the present moment. You're dealing with this old unresolved stuff. You're dealing with your old abuser. And so if you're dealing with your old abuser, that means that you're not even being present. You're not even being present in the present moment. Your old abuser doesn't deserve that. They don't deserve to own your mind like that. They don't deserve to own your mind like that. They are not, you don't have to allow yourself to keep reliving old abuse through new circumstances. And it's really not a big, long process either. That's the other thing I see. It's like, okay, well, now I'm going to have to learn how to do this so that I can take care of that. And that it's going to be this whole, like, I have to process through it. No, you don't. You do not have to process through it. You call on that solar light and you make a choice. I forgive these people. I let them free and I go free. And I don't owe anybody any explanation. And if I feel like telling you something, I will. And if I don't feel like telling you something, I won't. And I don't have to play games with you anymore. And I definitely don't need to hide behind money problems, for heaven's sake. That's ridiculous. You don't have to hide behind money problems. You're doing great with money. Don't create financial problems in order to avoid abuse issues. Right? Allowing yourself to stay on target with your meditational process. If you're not meditating every day, it looks like many of you have been trying to at least. Get that going. Call that solar light into the process and allow yourself to let go of these things that are not your responsibility. What happened to you, especially as a child, but anytime that was abusive and cruel and not your fault, that's not your responsibility. That's their responsibility. They can handle their behavior, right? You, on the other hand, you get to allow yourself to reclaim your own innocence and let go of these inner conflicts that were absolutely nothing to do with you. They had nothing to do with you. You did not deserve them. You were an innocent victim, right? And I know that a lot of, on some metaphysical level, there are no victims. I get that. On some metaphysical level, yes, you chose to come in here so that you could learn these lessons. Fine. We can look at it in that context at some time. But right now, it's not a healthy one. It's not a helpful context. Right now, the context that's the most helpful is the one that says, as a kid, you did not create any abuse that happened to you. That happened to you. And therefore, since that happened to you, you can let it go. You can release that and not take responsibility for it. You don't owe your abuser any more placation. And so anytime you try to placate something in your physical universe now, what you're in reality doing is still trying to placate that old abuser. They don't deserve that. They don't get that. They don't get to have that. Whether they're alive, whether they're dead, it doesn't matter. They don't get to have that. They don't get to live, as they say, rent-free in your mind anymore. Especially with you not even knowing that that's what's happening, where you are displacing all of that onto things like finances or maybe fights with other people or whatever it happens to be coming up as. None of that stuff is what you what you deserve. The only thing you deserve is that divine design, and to continue nurturing all of this wonderful prosperity that you've been nurturing and having more and more and more prosperity. Because that's infinite intelligence's will for you, not any of this stuff. And the reason why this is coming up ultimately is so that you can let it go. So stop making excuses for your abuser, even in really convoluted ways. You don't have to change your behavior. You don't have to play to the audience anymore. And you definitely don't have to reveal yourself to people that you don't want to reveal yourself to. You can have as many secrets as you want as long as you're doing it consciously. Remember, when you keep something secret, what you're doing is you're trying to make it sacred. It's called not casting your pearls before swine. That's good. Sick secrets, not something you want to keep. So you're doing great, Aries. You really, really are. But if you stay on the solar light and you stop letting your old abuser or whatever that was for you live rent-free in your mind and you stop trying to placate them in your present circumstances, you are going to have so much more energy, so much more power, and so much more ability to keep moving forward with this abundance. So stay with that meditation, stay with that solar light meditation. I also have another meditation that you may want to listen to if you have a chance. I don't remember what it's called. It's the one for the magician card. You can just look it up. Ariel Gatoga Magician on YouTube. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And thank you so much to Suzanne and Dre. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Blessed be.